Up, I read a poetry. If there is any Bengali person here would relate to me. The poetry is called Devotar Grash, in which the poet says that a little boy was sacrificed into Ganga because Ganga demanded it. And when I read that poetry, it always haunted me saying, how can how can a very religious, worshipped water body could ever demand something like that? And every time I saw Ganga, I saw that insidious, that, water body, which is probably even listening to me and may just take me away. So that was a very scary thought that I had in the beginning. But as I grew up, I read about Ganga being a goddess, being so many things to so many people, a protector, a mother, a friend. I always questioned that, then what was that I read? And how was my relationship with Ganga when I was a child versus when I grew up. So my entire production is divided into two sections. The first one is when I start reading about Ganga, Ganga from the books, the myths, and Ganga that I hear about experiences from people. And the last section is Ganga, my personal experience when I was grown up. So I try to explore what Ganga is to me in these three sections. The first one, what you just saw, was Ganga from the books that I read about, and I had the imagination of how Ganga might be in my imagination. And then taking it forward to what I experience, what I hear about, and what I learned from it. So that was the start.
So when you say imagination, what are the images that come to your mind of Ganga?
When I was a child, I read a story of Ganga sitting on top of a white, like snow-capped mountain, having a conversation with her father about the purpose of her life. It was a story I read as a child, and that story was so beautifully written that from the childhood I had this very clear portrayal of Ganga as a little girl, clad in white, under the moonlit sky, sitting with the father, discussing like you say everybody has a purpose, what is my purpose? And when the father answers and says that your purpose is very big, you will only realize it when it's time for you to realize it. And that's when she realizes her purpose and disperses into this white mist and becomes one with the cosmos and becomes Akashaganga. That was the story that I read as a child. So I wanted to bring that story into production at the beginning.
So I think that was beautifully brought out by that prop you brought, right? And I think Victor did a great job in lighting it from the sides so we could see transparently. Uh, Sometimes you can also work with the frontal lighting. You can work with the transparency and non-transparency. It becomes opaque. So it's a play you can do, but it was wonderfully done. Um, have you also then, as part of your research, did you travel on the Ganga? Did you go to Ganga Sagar, for instance?
Yeah, Ganga started growing up, yes.
Yeah, but not recently.
Not very recently,
Yeah.
but I have visited.
When you say the goddess, as in all our traditions, it is all that you say. It has the expanse, the power. It can be terrifying, but it's also very gentle, soothing, fertile. All those lands there. The people. So it's good to go there because we have something which is in the far memory, and the closer memory is also good. It's good to travel because it allows you to root your imagination in the real. I mean, when I'm standing here, with VPD Master in Santaka and Somnaka, I mean, these are people whose performances have always made me see things. Uh, because they have seen and experienced that, and when they bring it onto the stage, that reality of performance, and when that moment of real happens on stage, it just shocks you, jolts you, you know. So great. I wish you a wonderful journey along with the Ganges. Go up and down the Ganges and, enrich your story a lot more. All the best.
I would also add that the project that I'm working on is full-length production, and in that I try to bring the reality as of today also, and the stories that I hear in Varanasi, people telling the stories that they heard growing up, very real stories, and some may say it's a myth, but many people believe it's real. So I try to tap into that also and try to explore that. As you, rightly said, I tried that.
Yeah, that will, you're talking about the different ages of the Ganga, so you could look at Gangotri as the birth, and then, Sagar where she, and yeah, and they are very different, as you can imagine. Great work, and congratulations again. I'm very happy with the choices you made. The choice of resistance, I don't have questions about. Yes, we need those stories now, especially the ones of othering, and I mean, we all go through our daily Surpanaka moments as well. Men and women, because there's always somebody criticizing you, not liking, what you do, what you look like, what you can't do, etc. So, it's a great choice. So let's go to those choices. Um, Now, from where I stand, in stories of resistance, or in telling stories of resistance, um, one is also asked to make it a story of empowerment. So, how do you see the empowerment coming through your story?
Firstly, I think my dance form, Bharatanatyam, this classical aging, empowers me to tell stories that are different and to tell any story. And I feel like my gurus have always taught me that you can dream and you can do anything that you want to do. And maybe your technique or your growth or your journey right now is limited, but the form is limitless. So I think I'm empowered as an artist because I practice this form. And by telling stories that are around me, it really gives me a sense of relevance because I am living in a society that is dominated by materialistic success, and the yardsticks of achievements and success is so different. Uh, and it's every day in your eyes. Like the way we live as artists, the lifestyle that we are living because of the choice of being an artist is always questioned by society. So for me, when I tell a story of this, of something that everybody knows and has seen, it empowers me and it gives me a reason to believe why I'm an artist. Because I'm telling my story, and there cannot be anything more empowering than telling my own story. So I think just by saying stories that are around me and not tapping into mythology and not being in my comfort zone is empowering enough as an artist. And whether this brings change, whether this brings any sorts of questions or resolution or all that is left to the audience to take back.
So very well. It's a thinking dancer. That's what we need in the youngsters. Not just repeat whatever is there, remark them format. But I have a suggestion. You create your idiom, the Natya, there's an element of Aharya Abhinaya also should be a creative thing. So, when he asks about the color of the costumes, and you should have some concept whenever you do different concepts, when you're presenting different concepts, at least suggestively. But for me, I'm not a black favorite. I don't like black and on the stage. At least for a character also. It is for everybody, every dancer. The costume also, there should be a design, new design. When you do a new kind of concept, a kind of new design also we can do instead of doing the same Bharatanatyam format costume. We can suggestively create that also. There are a lot of several good artists who can contribute. Our dance, isn't it? I'm just giving a suggestion to everybody that is also part of your creativity. அதுக்காக சொன்னேன். Okay. Some design, some